Before I get onto the NXT review this week, I just want to make you guys aware of something. As some of you may know that watch some of my ROH reviews on my channel, Mr. Parkin, Mr. One, I have been very supportive of a tag team called D-Line on the independent scene, and they're doing a podcast now, which I urge you guys to go check out. They're doing a podcast talking about wrestling and sport and other world issues, etc. And I will link that in the description box below. All you have to do is sign up to the website and subscribe. And also, you can download it on iTunes as well. I definitely recommend you guys check this out. Two guys with real charisma, and you will enjoy what they have to talk about. They have had Eddie Kingston on the show. They have had Rhett Titus on their most recent show. So they got some names on the show. So please check it out. And you never know, down the line, maybe yours truly may be a guest on the show at some point. You never know. I'll link to the podcast in the description box below. Please check that out. D-Line for the win, bitches! So in our opening match of the evening, we had Alexander Rusev versus Sin Cara. Man, Sin Cara has really gone downhill since skipping NXT to the main roster as God's chosen one, first chosen one, so to speak, in 2011. So apparently I cared so little about an Alexander Rusev versus Xavier Woods match 2 weeks ago that I missed a Sin Cara interference. And do I regret that one bit? No, because my guess is that he probably botched the fucking thing. Just saying. And let's face it, the Sin Cara character is kind of dead now. Why would we really give a crap about this character? The only reason they really want to keep it in some way is because it sells merchandise. I mean, really, that's the only reason why they're keeping Sin Cara around. That's the reason why, even though Mystico left, they got Hunico under the mask now. And you can tell it's Hunico because of the damn tattoos that are there on his arm. And, you know, this character, in my opinion, could have been good. It could have been good from a merch standpoint, from a fan standpoint, but these things don't always work out. And it'll be interesting for me, personally, to see the battle of the Sin Cara character copyright now. Who's going to win that copyright? Is it going to be Mystico himself, or is it going to be WWE? Just saying. As for the match itself, why the lights? Why is it that even though Sin Cara is now essentially a jobber, or Hunico is now a jobber, why do we still need to have the lights? Especially when all the focus should be on Alexander fucking Rusev, who's just debuted on the WWE TV in the Royal Rumble and is having video packages on Raw and SmackDown, you know, announcing his debut in the WWE at some point. You know, it's just getting distracting now, these lights. They're just pointless. And did anyone else find it funny that when Rusev won this match pretty conclusively, that he was beating down Sin Cara and Xavier Woods didn't come out to Sin Cara's aid, even though 2 weeks ago Sin Cara came out to Xavier Woods' aid? Did anyone else find that kind of funny? Was Xavier Woods too busy dancing with the Funkadactyls backstage? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm going to ask a serious question now, though. What do you think of Alexander Rusev? After seeing him in the Royal Rumble or seeing him on NXT over this last year or so, do you think this guy can make it in WWE? I mean, I think, to be honest, it's very obvious why the WWE are quite high on him. I mean, you've got this guy who's 300 plus pounds. He's foreign, which seems to make a very, very good heel in America, so they think. So I'm just wondering, based on what you've seen so far, which isn't much, let's face it, do you think Alexander Rusev could make it in the WWE? Maybe not as a top guy, but as some kind of guy in the WWE. Let me know down in the comment section below. Be interested to hear your opinions on that one. So in our Divas action this week, we had Emma versus Alicia Fox, just cuz. You know, there wasn't really any kind of setup to this match. It was just announced on the show that these would have a match. And it became quite apparent later, you know, why it was just kind of a random match. But maybe a little bit of a setup to this. Maybe in a segment last week or something, may have done some good job to put some heat between these two and give a reason for there to be some kind of match. It's something that Raw and SmackDown does way too often. Just puts two wrestlers out there for no reason, and it just kind of feels pointless. But I will give them credit. Alicia Fox and Emma did try and tell some kind of story, despite the fact that there was really no setup, you know, with Alicia Fox making fun of Emma's dancing gimmick and, you know, not taking her seriously, etc. So I thought, in a way, at least they were trying to tell some kind of story, which is more than I can say for some of the divas in WWE, the roster right now, including Alicia Fox. It became apparent later, you had Emma on the mic saying that when Paige was recovering from her injury, she's going to get her rematch, and I believe that's going to be happening at the February 27th show, which should be a damn good show by the looks of it. And I already know the main matches on that show, and I already know what's going on. More on that when it's announced. And we get this 4-on-1 beatdown with with the BFFs coming out, etc. With Charlotte this time until Natalya and Bayley make the save. So it was a good way of getting Emma a win on her way to challenging Paige for the NXT Women's Championship and getting a lot of these divas out there Bayley and, you know, Summer Rae, Charlotte and Sasha Banks, which have semi-interesting characters right now and are in some kind of feud as well, let's not forget. While I'm here, I just want to quickly talk about the Raw segment that Emma was involved in this week with Santino Marella. As we've seen, Emma has been paraded throughout Raw and SmackDown, mainly in the segments involving Fandango and Summer Rae, who she had a little bit of interaction with in NXT a couple of months ago. She's been paraded around, you know, doing the dance and, you know, the Evolution signs, etc. So they've done a good job in, in introducing her to the WWE Universe, you know, as someone. You know, not necessarily as a WWE superstar, but as someone. And I must admit, after seeing her work with Santino on NXT and how entertaining their little feud was with Fandango and Summer Rae, I expected a little bit more from this segment, if I'm honest. I felt this segment it wasn't as good as I was really expecting it to be, especially, like I said, seeing some of the stuff they've done in NXT. And maybe that's because I'm a bit more of a fan of NXT and things just, in my opinion, come across a lot better on NXT. I don't know whether that's it or not, but in my opinion, the segment itself just didn't come across very well. It was very quick and you didn't really get much time to get into the segment. And, you know, even though Santino and Emma are, in my opinion, the perfect twosome to have as some sort of comedy, duet kind of team, etc., you know, I just felt the segment really overall was a little bit disappointing and introducing, you know, Emma to the WWE Universe. In my opinion, if they were going to do this, instead of having her paraded over Raw and SmackDown, if you're going to try and pick her out as like a random member of the crowd, you know, have her be a surprise on that night. Then it will feel like it was actually picked out of the crowd rather than, right, we've written it so she's going to get put in there. Because that's how it came across to me. And I'm guessing that's how it came across to a lot of viewers as well. Cue the generic rock entrance for Sylvester Lefort, people, because he's wrestling in a match today. Anyone else just find it funny that Sylvester Lefort just came out to generic rock music too. Just like the kind of thing you would get as background noise in a video game or something. It's just kind of funny. The match itself, Mason Ryan just floors him. Did we really expect anything different? And I just wonder with Mason Ryan, can they ever do anything different with him? I mean, I understand maybe he's very green and he can't really go in long matches and he's not very good on the mic. So, you know, there's very limited as to what they could do with him right now. But can we give some real competition to Mason Ryan other than jobbers? I mean, it would really help in my opinion. And just having him go up against Sylvester Lefort and stupid things like that and having him lose to Tyler Breeze just aren't really helping the guy right now. And apparently Sylvester Lefort is going to get revenge on Mason Ryan. Maybe you're going to bring in another guy to job out to Mason Ryan. Yeah! Before we get to some more action, we had a backstage promo with Aiden English, which was set in quite a dark room, which is, you know, something different from what you usually see on NXT. You probably didn't get his spotlight. That's probably what happened there. And basically, he addresses threatening Enzo Amore last week, saying that he ran over his foot and that's got it. He wants to get his revenge. And then he sings his little rendition of the Canadian national anthem on the way to facing Tyson Kidd, which I thought was kind of funny. And then we get to the match itself, Aiden English versus Tyson Kidd. You know, the match was okay. It was going along fine. You had Colin Cassidy come out to distract Aiden English by putting on his scarf and beret, which I thought was hilarious, and that gave Tyson Kidd the win. I will say, as much as what Colin Cassidy did was hilarious, I'm surprised he didn't do a little bit more, something more aggressive, especially after how his character came across as very serious last week. It's very strange that his character goes from very serious and wanting to kick Aiden English's ass to just going out there and putting on his beret and scarf and distracting him by, you know, pointing in that direction, etc. Just a bit of a lack of consistency there. Even though I will say this, an Aiden English and Colin Cassidy / Enzo Amore feud, for me, is one of the most entertaining feuds on the show. And it's not like a main event feud or anything. It's just that I'm entertained by the Aiden English character. I'm entertained by the Enzo Amore. And, you know, also the Colin Cassidy character right now, in my opinion, has improved a lot. And they're just doing some good stuff with these from a creative standpoint. So I've been quite entertained by this feud so far. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this feud going forward. Hopefully we'll get another rendition of the Canadian national anthem. And maybe they'll include SAWFT Soft in this one. Yeah. They went back to the Asian Neville versus Corey Graves feud on this show, and they had a match in the main event of this show. Was I the only one that just wasn't really paying much attention to this match? I wasn't really that interested. I don't really know why. I just had no real intent to watch this match fully, and I was just sort of tuning in and out while sort of doing other things, kind of like I might do if I was watching an edition of Raw, so to speak. So I wasn't really all that fussed about the match. I did see, Adrian Neville get the victory, even though he had the leg injury, which Graves worked over throughout the match. And he did a good job of selling it up until the point where he did his finisher. But I guess that's where the superhero babyfaceness of WWE superstars comes in, I guess, brother. And this really was there to give Adrian Neville a kind of big-ish win on his way to facing Bo Dallas at the February 27th show. More on that when news comes out, by the way. And we get Serious Bo coming down to the ring, and he threatens to basically, take out Adrian Neville's leg until Triple H comes out and makes what is best for business on NXT. And that is on the February 27th show, Adrian Neville versus Bo Dallas, the first time ever on NXT, in a ladder match. And I must admit, I am definitely watching that show. I don't care if the rest of the show is filler, which it won't be because I know Paige versus Emma is going to be happening on that show. So right there, right now, we've got two big matches that I give a lot of shits about on the first ever live NXT, which is going to be the first edition of NXT on the WWE Network. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see NXT live, and I can't wait to see the NXT and seeing how well they react to being live and to being on the WWE Network, and just to see how well Bo Dallas and Adrian Neville do in a ladder match for the NXT Championship, as well as all these other matches that are going on there. And there's going to be more to come in the future, guys, and I'll get more onto that once the news actually breaks out to you, and I'll give you a chance to react to it, so then you can see my reaction to it. It's going to shake up the NXT universe, I'll just say that. This NXT show wasn't half bad this week, I felt. I think that a majority of the focus for NXT now in the next few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, has got to be on that February 27th show, which is going to be live on the WWE Network. And WWE, or NXT in particular, have set up Bo Dallas versus Adrian Neville in the first ever NXT ladder match for the NXT Championship, which will definitely be a good main event in my opinion. And it looks like they're going to be going with Emma versus Paige for the Women's Championship on that show as well. So already this show is looking pretty big, just based on the first 2 matches they've got on the show. There's going to be more to come, and the news is only going to get better for NXT on the WWE Universe. I guarantee you that. So make sure you tune into future reviews where the news breaks. I will tell you and give you my opinion on it. If you're an NXT lover, you'll definitely like the news going forward for NXT. Thank you very much for watching this review. If you have any comments or thoughts on the show, put them down in that comment section below. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.